This Impact Wrestling review was brought to you by 5 Hour Energy. Try it, and the next time the Aces and Eights have a promo segment, Jeremy Borash will staple Wes and Garrett's mouths shut before the microphone gets anywhere near them. I wish I could say I was surprised that the return of Hulk Hogan to Impact coincided with a bunch of my old frustrations with this product rearing their ugly heads, but I'm really not. Maybe I was expecting it, maybe I've just come to associate Hogan with things that anger me or make no sense. At any rate, he's back now after the show had been so much more enjoyable without him these last few weeks. All things considered, I guess we should count our blessings that he was confined to one segment. I can't be the only one enjoying the fact that the Aces of Eights are finally imploding, but if you're anything like me, you're probably just rolling your eyes and wishing they'd stop dragging this crap out and just end it already. We're getting a lot of tension in the group now. Bully writes off the Devon firing like it's nothing, which gets the others thinking, well, if Devon was nothing to him, then what are we? Add that to them not being happy that they don't get a vote in Tito Ortiz joining the club, and tensions are rising. And this isn't being done badly, although anything that involves Wes and Garrett speaking never turns out well, but it's so obvious where it's going. And after we've spent over a year on these ass clowns, I just want them to get there, finish this, and move on.
You guys suck.
So while the opener wasn't necessarily bad thanks to Bully and Anderson saving it, I didn't really care about it either. It's obvious Bully, Tito, and Tessmacher is what we're meant to be focusing on now. Bully's starting to check out of the club, and without him as the spearhead to keep this group afloat, they're an even bigger waste of time than they were before. Do we have to keep deliberating this so much? Why are we still focusing on this? Can't Wes, Nux, and Garrett just go away?
Now forever leave my presence. Leave this ring, leave this building, leave the state. I think you should be exiled from the United States of America.
So for Knockouts action, we got Gail Kim versus ODB. Again, in a 2 out of 3 falls match, a stipulation they just threw out there randomly, most likely in a weak attempt to make this matchup less stale, for the #1 contendership. So either Gail or ODB become #1 contender to Mickie James's title, and either way the result is a match I have no desire to see again. I barely looked at the screen during this. Again, I feel really bad saying that. I do. But I'm so past caring about these old knockout matchups now. A new storyline, a fresh feud. Just show me something different. Something I haven't already seen 100 times before, please. Yes! What I saw of the match was okay. ODB wins. I don't care. Sign some new knockouts. Now here's something interesting with the knockouts, and ironically it involves Velvet Sky.
Say what?
Velvet has this backstage pre-tape where they bring up her real-life relationship with Chris Sabin, and there's a tease that they might be doing a storyline with that, maybe something about their personal lives somehow getting mixed up with business. Okay, see, this is interesting. This is something we haven't explored. If they're going to turn that relationship into an angle of some kind, that's something to do with Velvet Sky's character that has not been done yet. Here's a horse that actually hasn't been beaten to death. Now I'm intrigued. In fact, just a few days ago, I wrote a blog about how the writers should do more pairings with the wrestlers in the knockouts because it leads to new story possibilities. And I even said that it would make a lot of sense to do something like this with Sabin. And what a crazy coincidence. Surprising, actually. Something else that was surprising, in a good way, was the follow-up to the AJ Styles angle from last week. The Main Event Mafia thank him for his help. He's got an open invitation to join the group, but it turns out that's not where they're going. And this was not what I expected. Yet what appeared to be AJ dropping the no-one gimmick last week is not the case. Apparently it's not gone so much as de-emphasized. he's still pissed off about a lot of things, but with shades of the old AJ creeping back in now. And I like that. This was a needed change to make, but they're keeping it organic rather than dropping the gimmick all at once, which would have been too jarring. And AJ cut probably one of his best promos, talking about how he's still bitter about how he's been treated by the company and he's worth more than what he gets. Some interesting work-shoot stuff going on here, bringing a little bit of reality into it, probably why the promo was as good as it was. But he's willing to try to carry the company on his shoulders again, but a lot of that hinges on whether he can win the Bound for Glory series. By AJ standards, this was a great promo. I just wish they could have streamlined it, shortened it a little bit. The crowd was getting restless with this. They were chanting "wrap it up" at the end. As much as I'm a fan of AJ, it's probably best to keep his promos short and sweet most of the time. He can be worth a good promo in certain situations, but if you want someone with the gravitas to keep an audience riveted for a long talking segment, AJ Styles is really not that guy. Now, speaking of the BFG series, if you're wondering how they could determine the Final Four this week when they haven't even come close to having all the preliminary matches yet, I don't have an answer to that. I'm as lost as you are. This whole tournament is a complete mess. I don't know if it fell apart in the planning stages or what, but somebody screwed the pooch big time. Complete disaster. So from now on, we're going to have to take everything BFG series related with a huge grain of salt, because they're pretty clearly just making this up as they go now.
I will not participate in this charade this evening.
And that's a damn shame, because the Bound for Glory series is such a cool idea, and it can be great if it's executed right. But it's also one of these things that can very quickly fall to pieces if it's not planned out meticulously, and unfortunately that's what happened here. TNA dropped the ball on this one. There's no getting around it.
But don't boo me. You should be booing yourselves.
But hey, at least they ended strong with these last three matches. Kaz Jeff Hardy was really good. AJ Bobby Roode was really good, with a pretty shocking ending too. AJ wins, but doesn't make the Final Four, which makes you wonder why the hell he was even going for a pin at all when he needed the submission win for 10 points, but whatever. And Aries versus Daniels, holy shit. Not only did they have an outstanding pre-match promo, but they had easily one of the best Impact matches we've seen this year, if not the best. Go out of your way to see that one. So the Final Four in the tournament are Magnus, Roode, Hardy, and Aries, which throws a gigantic monkey wrench into the AJ Styles angle they've been building up for ages. I mean, I was stunned by this. So much so that I figured there had to be some kind of swerve or loophole and he'd end up in the Final Four anyway. And I was okay with that because, one, it was a cool swerve, two, it was genuinely shocking, and three, I assumed this was all part of the plan and they had something really good up their sleeves. Then Hulk Hogan came out. So the reason Hogan has been gone for the last few weeks is because he was meeting with Spike TV executives or something like that so he could get one more match in the BFG series made, even though they never even did all the matches they were supposed to do in the first place.
This is unbelievable. This doesn't make any sense.
It makes about as much sense as it sounds. Just roll with it. It's a gauntlet match for 20 points. The match that I thought was supposed to start the tournament like it did last year, but didn't, but now they're doing it anyway as a last-minute fix because they've got no other way to get around this problem they caused themselves. Oh my god, what a train wreck.
This whole show is ridiculous!
Really? Look, I know TNA booked themselves into a corner on this one, and any way they could get out of it was probably going to strain credibility an awful lot. But was this really the best they could come up with? I am flabbergasted. Magnus is the points leader with 39 total. So when you take this gauntlet match worth 20 points and add it to the 4 ways they did previously, each of which were also worth 20 points, you're largely invalidating every one-on-one match in the tournament. You're saying that none of those matches really meant anything because a guy could literally lose every single one of those matches, be dead last on the points board with a big fat goose egg, but then all he has to do is win the hardcore 4-way, win the gauntlet match, and then just like that he comes in first place! Are you kidding me?
Oh, what a bunch of bull.
Look, Clearly, this was TNA just throwing up their hands and saying, fuck it. We gotta get from point A to point B somehow. If we have to throw logic out the window, so be it. Let's just bite the bullet and get through this any way we can. This was a quick fix for a really embarrassing blunder, but the very fact that they even allowed themselves to be put in this position where the only way out was to essentially retcon nearly every match in the tournament is mind-boggling. AJ Styles gets one more chance to make the Final Four, but it only happens because Hogan is basically abusing his power as the general manager and booking a match that makes no sense. I don't know how this happened, but from this point on, the 2013 Bound for Glory series is going to be a cautionary tale about how horribly this tournament can blow up in your face when you don't plan it out properly. Good grief.
Fail! You fail! How do you screw this up?
Also, Hogan was busy getting Bully and Brooks' divorce finalized, which he was pretty smug about. Yeah, Hogan, I'm no lawyer, but I'm pretty sure that's not official until Bully Ray actually signs that document you were waving around. Whatever. The Brooke Hogan chapter is closed. Let's just move on. And then two more bombshells. Hogan is booking Bully Ray to defend the World Heavyweight title against another member of the Aces of Eights. This is obviously to further that whole dissension in the ranks angle, so we gotta drag that out as long as humanly possible because they're just dead set on this pussies and leather thing lasting until Bound for Glory. And why is one of these losers getting a world title shot before Chris Sabin gets his rematch? I don't know. I guess we're just forgetting about that. And why not? They're retconning everything else. But before that match happens, Bully Ray will have to face Sting. And Hogan said this was for the world title, which for a minute just about drove me up the fucking wall. But it turns out it's not. The website is saying it's non-title, so that was just a botch on Hogan's part. Thank God. Bully and Sting again? This really doesn't interest me. I don't care to see it anymore, but it's really not a big deal as long as the title isn't at stake. And at least this match does make sense to do. And to his credit, Sting has been taking a backseat to let the young guys have the spotlight since Slammiversary, so you know what, they can have this one. Oh man, really hot and cold on Impact this week. There were some great highlights. The BFG series matches ranged from really good to outstanding. Daniels Aries kicked ass. AJ's promo was great, even if it went a little too long, and the Velvet Sky Chris Sabin tease was intriguing. But the Knockout division is just spinning its wheels, the Aces of 8 stuff is putting me to sleep, and good lord, the execution of the Bound for Glory series has been botched all to hell this year. So some really good stuff, some really bad stuff, and not much in between. Until next week, where hopefully we'll get more of the former and less of the other stuff. Later.